This is Joan Kristen Haugen. I am the author of the Adventure Seeker Saga and Hope's Heart Tarot and Odin's Runes. Today I would like to show to you my Hope's Heart Tarot deck. It comes in a beautiful, lush velveteen sash, which is big enough to hold not only Hope's Heart Tarot, but other decks or a few crystals or an essential oil. It's very sturdy and luxurious and soft. And on the front is the emblem for Hope's Heart Tarot. Inside you will find round cards. You'll find round, easy to handle, easy to slip together cards. Okay? It's a standard 78 card deck with 2 informational cards along with it. One of the reasons the cards are round is because it's easier to read and help a client or a frightened friend or yourself if you realize that life isn't up or down, black or white, or yes or no. In fact, it's many times any of those positions. And if something is awry and not the way you need it to be, there has to be a remedy to turn yourself back around to where you need to be. This particular card, which I randomly picked, happens to be the Star. See? And there it is, straight up. It's just daring to dream. But as the card turns, and the cards turn in a clockwise position, you end up frozen in fear. If we ever dream big and feel ourselves frozen in fear, we can stop that magic, that manifestation of the Star card from happening. And then, well, we sometimes suffer from lost hope. But there's always a remedy. If we dare to dream, if we really dare to dream, we can end up here again at the Star card. So that's essentially how the cards work. If you're a beginning reader, it's nice to have a little bit of help for what the cards' meanings are. And if you're an experienced or professional reader, it's really nice with a client to not only use your own intuition, but to be able to prove to them with words on cards and showing them the remedy out of the situation they're in order to help build them with empowerment and love and enthusiasm. So some of the other features on the cards is that they are color-coded. I don't know if you can see here that there is a red, green, brown, blue, and purple. The red cards are the cups. The green, around the corners there you can see the green around the outside, is the money cards or coins. Browns are clubs or wands, and the blue are the swords. And of course the Major Arcana is in royal purple. So in any kind of a layout you can just at a glance know where does the reading tend to fall. Is it more Major Arcana? Is it more pentacles or coins? Is it more swords? So it's easier to just glance at the deck and glance at the layout to know what you have. So here's a few examples that I just showed you. The first is the three of Cups. Celebration. Time together with women. If that starts to slip at all into gossip, gossip or cruelty, if there's a spy in the camp, we can end up with joylessness. And then it takes a lot of relationship building to end up back into the 3 of Cups. So when someone does happen to get a joyless or heartbreak on the reversed 3 of Cups, you can say, yes, there's a remedy. Rebuild your relationships and trust in each other. All of the cards have 4 words. The top is the title and a small description. And then as we start to turn, it has the main category, and underneath another meaning. So there are 2 sets of basic general meanings of the cards. Of course, there are 1,000 more, but these are just general ideas. So that's the suit of cups. The suit of coins I have here, I just happened to pick the 9 of coins. You know, that card is kind of an on or off one. Sometimes the Nine of Coins straight up can mean you have a lot of resources but not a lot of friends, right? And reversed, it can mean, well, you got a lot of friends but not a lot of, money. But of course, with Hope's Heart Tarot, there's a little bit of remedy with that, right? It says here that if you are filled with wealth and you are self-dependent and focusing on those things, if you just focus on others, just start doing that, then you can actually depend on others too. Not a bad thing to learn to depend and trust on others. But again, sometimes we need to focus on self-gain in order to find our wealth. That's a good example of how the messages can turn. Here's an example of the wands, the Eight of Wands. As the Lipizzaner jumps into Capriole, it means movement, right? And with any amount of delays and setbacks and frustration, we can end up stuck. How many clients, how many readers, or if you're reading for yourself, sometimes the question involves, why am I so stuck? Well, to be re-energized, make a thing for the better, a turn for the better here. A lot of the other cards around, of course, in a read can tell you how to do that, to end up back at your Capriole, movement forward. An example of the swords is the Five of Swords. 5 change of swords minds, chains of minds that can only come with healthy debate. Something in our world right now we should really learn to do a lot better. With harsh words, of course, we can end up with a no-win resolution. We don't want that, right? Right? It takes, the ability to find your voice and speak it in a dignified way in order to enjoy a healthy debate. Major Arcana card here is the Sun, enlightened vitality. It's summertime. We all feel that right now. But here with some self-doubt, we can end up discouraged. Discouragement is the opposite of enlightened vitality. But there is a way to turn yourself around here and become enlightened again, in enlightened vitality. That's the premise of how Hope's Heart Tarot works. There are a few special cards. The Fool has been renamed, traditionally the Fool, the Seeker, as the Seeker is on a brave new journey. The Devil's card has been replaced with Fear. There they are, naked and tied to a rock with a big, icky, scary snake on it. That's what fear is, though, right? The Magician, instead of just an androgynous person, is replaced with 2 characters of the book at their wedding. The book that the Magician is in the Adventure Seeker Saga, is Scorpio, where our 2 fabulous couples get married. All of the scenarios and all of the pictures inside of Hope's Heart Tarot are part of the Adventure Seeker Saga story, the 4 award-winning visionary fiction books that use tarot and runes to solve everyday problems. And death is still death. Mine's a little different. There the bird is, singing on top of the skull. No clue, as she is life and he is death. The delicate balance. A couple other examples that are interesting are, for example, the Eight of Swords, which can mean feeling trapped, right? Imprisoned by fear. So the swords are about using mind and logic and reason, and overdoing it can cause us a great disservice. So with reason and logic, we can usually have some mental freedom, but be careful not to obsess, or we could end up right back where we started from. So you can see that the cards show a remedy. If you notice, the back of the cards are not exactly uniform where you wouldn't know if a card was reversed or not. But it really helps with round cards to have a point or a figure if you're going to turn the card from your seeker's stack to yours. You can re-identify and copy the same position the person you're reading for had laid down the cards. It doesn't matter if a card is upside down or sort of sideways or straight up, because some of the messages are not necessarily positive up and negative down. Here in the example of the Eight of Swords. Another one of my favorites is the Seeker, or excuse me, the Hermit. There it is, Devil's Tower, Wyoming, seeking your own light. Hope's Heart Tarot also helps with the court cards by actually naming them a character we might know in our life or be able to identify within ourselves. The Queen of Wands, for example, is oftentimes the champion. Reversed, however, she can be the fanatic. Here's an example of things turning around, and that is the Tower card. We all have experience with the Tower, and a lot of people say, oh, I don't want the Tower to show up in the tarot. But you know what? The opposite of the Tower is transformation, and there's the transformed butterfly flying away. Another one is the Three of Swords. Nobody wants the Three of Swords, or they think that they don't, because it is agony, right? But the Hope's Heart Tarot gives a remedy of experiencing pain but not wallowing in it. And that is the way to get relief and enhanced joy, right? So many times people come to the Three of Swords, they've had to make a decision, or they need to make a very painful decision. But having words on the cards to identify can help your client, yourself, your frightened friend say, just experience the pain. You're here anyway. You're in agony anyway. Go through it to find relief. So that's a basic description of Hope's Heart Tarot. I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you are interested in purchasing your own deck, just follow the links below. They are $25, which includes the beautiful deck, 4.5-inch round cards, and a beautiful pouch. Thank you, and I wish you well.